Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, and Re-Experience, or as we like to call it, Re3s, where you guessed it, we do all three of those things to our favorite video game franchises. In this edition of Re3, we'll be replaying, reliving, and re-experiencing Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption in anticipation for Grand Theft Auto 6, hopefully coming in the fall of 2025. Here to mosey alongside with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Yeehaw, Gooch.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're moseying, okay.
Appreciate it.
And our guest for the show, soon to be married, Casey Wellman. First, I do want to mention, Casey, I do want to thank you for doing the show so close to your wedding.
Absolutely.
Because the first thing I said when we were bringing Casey on, I'm like, there's no way he can do this with your wedding coming up. But yeah, I just wanted to say it on the cast. We appreciate you making some time when you probably have none.
Yeah, thank you. It's worth it. It's a group effort. You know, Marissa likes her sleep, and I get up early. So,
There you go.
you know,
It works out. That's good.
Nah, she's cool. And today she was knocked out when I was coming here. I texted her. I was
That's
like, hey,
so
I'll be
funny.
back in a little bit. You know, we had a big weekend, so
Yeah.
she didn't care. As long as we talk about it, that's the whole thing. It's scheduling and being on the same page. So
By the time this
works.
episode comes out, you will be married.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
as of recording, less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think this will be like the week after you get married, because we're starting.
I'll be in Greece.
Yeah, you'll be in a
nice.
different country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your first time, I assume?
No, I did the main.
Really?
First time getting married?
No, to
yeah,
Greece.
yeah, yeah.
First time getting married?
Shit.
Yeah.
First time.
What a drop ball. I did like a mainland in college. I did a trip that was like all mainland historical stuff.
Oh, that's
very,
awesome.
very cool. But
Yeah.
not
Oh yeah.
Not like a trip you guys can do now,
like
right?
Maris wouldn't be. It's not her speed to do that kind of stuff.
Sure.
She would totally if I was like, hey, while we're over there, can we go back to
Right.
Athens or whatever? Because she asked me. And I was like, no, I just want to go to the islands. That's all we're doing.
That's
so,
cool, man.
Skipping the mainland. And
Yeah.
I love
My
it.
parents went
Yeah.
to Greece on their honeymoon.
we were talking about that last time I was there. Me and your mom. And the pictures
Yeah.
upstairs and all that. Yeah.
I mean, it looks
Very cool.
fucking gorgeous. Every
Yeah.
picture I always see of
Can't
it.
wait.
Mykonos, baby.
I was literally about to
That's
say
the
yeah.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
Mykonos.
friends there right now who just got married and are doing their honeymoon there. So it's been like
Get
a
the
little
Rex.
teaser. Yeah, we've been seeing like
I've been
pictures
there.
from them.
I've been there in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. All right.
Hey, yeah,
That's
yeah.
Yeah. I've been to
You get
Italy and
the idea.
Assassin's
Yeah, I get.
Creed
I think I
too.
basically understand.
I don't
it. Yeah.
need to go to Italy. I went there in Assassin's Creed.
Exactly. Yeah.
And of course, let me shout out Fingers. He did our intro and outro for
Absolutely.
this episode. I think when we recorded the first 2 episodes, we didn't even start
No.
to have that conversation. Yeah, Casey, the man with the hands.
Fingers. Yeah.
Yeah. He remixed the. Is it the Red Dead Redemption theme?
I can't remember. I don't know if it's the theme or the. There's like 2 different songs. There's a
'Cause
main
you
theme.
led this. This was
Yeah.
this was your initiative here.
It was the main theme, and then I can't remember what the other one was. Like the dun 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 dun. I'm trying. I can't even do it very
The
well.
song,
but like,
yeah.
it's one of the main verses. I don't think it's the main theme though.
Your scatting is
Yeah,
unmatched.
what can I say? Yeah.
Trio's a scat man. What can you say? Yeah.
But yeah, he did a fantastic job. Genuinely.
Yeah, we appreciate him as always. His information in the description. But this is episode 3. We are covering the West Elizabeth section, which is the Dutch section of the game, and of course, the epilogue. So Trio, give us a little intro. Where were we last time? It's been a while since we recorded too, so I need to be
All right,
reminded.
Gooch, let's set the stage here. Javier and Bill have been dealt with, and Mexico is free. John, on the other hand,
Free.
has the government's leash still tight around his neck. Agent Ross and Agent Archer have informed John that Dutch Vanderlyn has been spotted in West Elizabeth. It's time for John's mentor to die so that his family can live. And there we are. We're on our way to West Elizabeth, the northernmost part of the map, which was cut off. It's funny, Rockstar doesn't do this anymore, I don't think, but this was a big thing back in their older games. I feel like Red Dead might have been the last one. Actually, they do it in Red Dead 2, but where they cut off the map, make it inaccessible in some way. So like Gooch
What do you
in
mean?
Grand Theft Auto 3, for instance, the bridges were cut off. You only started off on the first island, and until you progressed so far in the story, the rest of the map was not unlocked for you.
Oh, can you not go there?
No, you can't.
go
So did you try to go to West Elizabeth?
Like
Yes, but I actually never went to the other side of the bridge. Like I was thinking, I'm like,
Well, you
can-
can't.
Yeah, I was like, can I, instead of, like, by the time I got to Mexico, some of my challenges were up in West Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So I was like, can I just go there and do them?
No, you could not.
Did you?
Yeah.
Had you tried or no?
No.
Okay.
No. That's interesting to hear. 'Cause
Yeah.
I kind of assumed you could have.
It's just like a blockade at the bridge at the far end, or like northeast
Railroading.
end of Thieves Landing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on the bridge. You can't go through. Yeah, and you don't really think it's not like you can't see anything going on. So
No.
it's not like, oh, I'm missing out. You kind of figure that's something, but it's blocked off.
Yeah.
Kind of well done.
It is
actually.
well
Like,
done.
you
Well,
just-
and,
Older games tend to do that kind of thing.
yeah, no, they do. And especially these Rockstar games. Like, I mean, I think Vice City did it to San Andreas. You couldn't get out of, like, the main city until, like, a certain point in the game. So it was definitely kind of to cut you off in a certain way. And it's funny how Red Dead 2 does it in the way of, like, the whole southern part of the map is just used for the epilogue. So, like, that's kind of different. But, yeah. What did you think about just West Elizabeth in general going up there, returning, Gooch? Especially
I mean,
you,
first off, getting to Blackwater was like, you're coming back home, but you haven't been home in maybe like 4 or 5 years, and you knew there was like construction going on, and the whole place looks totally different. It's so much more civilized than it was in Red Dead Redemption 2. And I forgot to make this comment, like, with Tumbleweed. Not like Tumby. I used to call it Tumby.
Yeah.
And like Tumbleweed just being gone. Like, it's there, but like nobody lives there. It's a gang hideout.
Right.
Like, it's not being used as a town anymore. And to kind of see that evolution of the times, but like also just the game,
Right.
is pretty interesting. Yeah, you get there, and I feel like it's a bit like familiarly unfamiliar. You kind of see like the heat of the city, like, like in the distance, you see like the heat waves. I thought it was interesting that they decided to like do that. They painted in a very like interesting picture.
For sure.
Because like it's the end of the game, and you're sort of entering like your first civilized town.
Like, really civilized, too.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
government agencies there. There's a governor.
there's
like,
paved roads.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Car. Yeah. I mean, and another thing, like, not to skip ahead and get to Casey, but the use of semi-automatic weapons. Ross gives John a semi-auto. Dutch is using a semi-auto, which I think is an interesting
he has a Mauser,
choice.
right? Yeah.
He has the longer one.
Just the semi-automatic pistol, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I just find it interesting that even him, like, I feel like the revolver is kind of like a symbol of like older times, and like even the type of weapon it is, it's between like your muskets and your semi-autos. Like revolver is like that in between period. I mean, you still use revolvers, but not really.
You're not using that like because
no
it's
military
a good. Yeah, exactly.
is using a revolver. But Casey, let me throw it over to you. Like, yeah, did you have these kind of thoughts? Like, what would you think of Blackwater getting into it? Or going back to it?
Yeah, I was gonna say Blackwater itself, like West Elizabeth in general. I really like that area. So like without, I guess, getting too far into the whole area, Blackwater was like the first thing I remember this time playing it. I came in the way of like, I forget how you actually get in there at first, but like when I myself rode into town,
you just go up there. Yeah,
but like whatever the first time I rode into Blackwater this time, I came in at that auto body shop, and it was like the first built sign I noticed was like, because I've like played it so many times, I know where everything's at in there. But like the way I came in, I guess if you're like looking east, it's like to the south. You're you're right,
like
or
from where like the
in.
Buffalo are.
They can be all over. The other, like, not the way that takes you
true.
out to Beecher's Hope, but the way that comes up from like the railroad,
Right.
That I think that's where the automotive spot is, like right on that end of town. And like I just remember looking at it and being like, dude, I don't even remember seeing this spot. Like, I know there's cars and all that at a certain point, and like the automobiles, but like the actual auto body shop being there, like advertising services, I was like, dude, fuck, it is so modernized compared to like how because I still think of it as like Old West, like even though I played it a bunch of times, seen all the advances. So like that was funny. Just like first thing I noticed was like the car, and then like you go in and it's like, oh, this is still like a old place. Like it's kind of
like a half and half.
It's a good mix of like everything that's going on. Symbolically, kind of represents the whole game. I think like it's just a meeting of two different eras in like one place.
Right. And the one eclipsing the other.
Yeah, that big government overreach, but also like little settlements of like individualized people. It's a cool. I wish I could remember more about Red Dead 2's Blackwater because like I
It's
do
true.
remember
You don't
that it's-
spend a lot of time there too. I
Yeah.
feel like in
Right,
Red Dead 2 compared to
you just have that heist there, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't want to go back. So
No.
the game like takes
Spends-
circles around it the
yeah,
whole time.
spends a lot of time keeping you away
Talks
from
about
there.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where-
for
Whereas
sure.
all you're trying to do is get to it in
Exactly.
this one. So.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, like I can't really remember all that much about it. And two's so much bigger.
I
There's so
wonder
much more
if
to
that
say.
was like a approach when they were developing the game. Like, we want to keep people away from Blackwater for now. Like, it does seem like it's really intentional.
It's wild to me that there is like 50% of the map that you don't this is Red Dead 2 that you don't explore until just because it's just for the epilogue. It's like for another 0.5 of a game. It's so cool, and I spent a lot more time down there in the multiplayer, so that's where I kind of got more familiar with it, like doing bounties and things like that.
Right.
In the second one, but it does feel like Blackwater is like the seed for where they took Saint Denis. Like this was like the miniature version of the most modern city at the time, but then you see like a real modern city within Red Dead 2 when you get to Saint Denis, and it's blocks and blocks of not even skyscrapers but tall buildings, but
it's large.
it's
and-
large
and,
and it feels like this is the
modern.
new this is the new normal. But there's still horse fucking stalls around everywhere and stuff like that. Yeah, I really liked Blackwater. It's funny, I forget how small this part of the game is compared to the rest of it.
Yeah,
I think we were talking about this before, Gooch. It feels like it's like 25, 50%, or no, I'd say like 30%, 50% in Mexico, and then whatever percent left in West Elizabeth, because you only have a few missions with Ross and stuff like that before you get into.
The whole game is sort of oddly paced.
I agree.
Like, the game, like, I mean, after you kill Dutch, there is, like, more to the game, but, like, it almost feels like it is over.
It does. I still remember playing it for the first time and being like, oh, I'm going to see my family? Like, I didn't really expect, like, to get that. Maybe
Right. Oh, you see him and it ends.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you do,
yeah.
like, a weird mission and then it's over, but then it's like, oh, we're doing a couple and we're getting to know Uncle and, like, Abigail and Jack and really actually kind of understand these people as much as you can within...
Right, because
4 or 5 missions.
We haven't seen them up into that point. Where
Exactly.
in this, it's like, oh yeah, we know who these characters are, so it's not like a huge moment in that kind of way.
No, it's true. And it's funny, Uncle is so differently characterized
Yes.
in this
I don't
game.
like him in the original, and I heard his voice actor died, and they replaced him in
That's
2.
why. Interesting.
Yeah, and they were recording, and he died, and they had to recast him.
That's actually interesting
There's
because
your fun
Abigail's
fact. It's a
different.
fun
That
fact.
is a
There
fun
you go.
fact. I didn't
Yeah.
see that. Because Abigail's not the same voice actor, I don't think. And I'm pretty
It's
sure
not?
I don't think so. I'll look that up in a minute. But and then Jack, obviously, he's a 13, 14-year-old kid, so it's not going to be the same one. But you do start to feel the retconning of Red Dead 2 a little bit. I feel like within this chapter, because I don't know, you'd think that just more would be mentioned besides Bill and Dutch, and it's not harsh. It's very easily kind of replaced within Red Dead 2. But you would just assume some of the other gang members would have been brought up within that time of talking with Abigail or going over that type of stuff. But yeah, how did you feel about just the final confrontation with Dutch in general?
Talking to me.
I guess in general, whoever wants to take it, I should direct.
I was gonna let you go first.
So I going off of that and your point about Dutch using the semi-auto. I noticed that and I thought it was so interesting that this guy, fighting against modernization is like, all right, but this is the best thing going on right now. So he's picking and choosing what hill he's gonna the parts of the hill he's dying on in terms of not modernizing and not going into this new age of civility and government, or just more I guess just modernity in general. So I think it just highlights his wishy-washiness about whatever suits his survival he's gonna do. He puts it under the guise of I'm fighting for something greater than me and it's for all of us and we it's the bad move for humanity. They're taking away from us what makes us in so many words.
Right,
Sure.
no, it is deep. It is deep.
But then it's it contradicts his actual day-to-day behavior of he's just he's not tied to anybody in particular. He's out for himself. He's all whatever's best for Dutch is what's best for everybody.
Obviously using people
yeah. So I think that last scene highlights that, and he's you can tell he's a cornered animal though. I don't know if that's like a cool part about Dutch or not, but like he's like so savage in some ways, and then like other ways it's just like you're like, oh dude, you're just a man at the end of the day, like, and he's realizing that, and he's having trouble coming to grips with it, and but then it's like then when he goes out, you're like, all right, dude, like I don't know what a better way to be, like, to wrap that up would be.
It's true.
So I wonder like how else they could have done that, and I didn't know how much you wanted to like get into about
Dutch was such a coward to the point where like he could not be defeated. He could not let John kill him. He had to.
He couldn't go. Well, because John wanted. I think John would have taken him in.
Oh yeah,
if he because he doesn't want to be there. He's kind of honestly at this point forgiven.
Right, like
Dutch.
he doesn't want to kill these people.
No, he's being forced to, and I mean it's just
he will. Yeah.
and he will
he
because it's
absolutely
him
will.
or them, and he's going to do that. And I don't know. There is a very interesting. I wish I could remember the whole speech that that Ross gives John when he's like, "Why are you taking my like John?
Oh, and that
stop
is like,
asking
whatever the fuck you just said."
Yeah, it's actually a good little
yeah.
speech, and he's talking about. He's just kind of explaining. He's like, "That's why Dutch is an insane person," and he's like, "You followed him. Now you're dealing with the consequences."
Yeah,
and
you really,
this is the way it is.
You do feel like Dutch is totally off his rocker.
I mean, the way he shoots that woman in the bank,
Yeah.
just for
like
no
the
reason.
way he's dressed is pretty weird. Like I just think his outfit is like very like
He talks a
Judge.
little
He's in
like more
shambles.
sickly.
Like-
Yeah. And it's funny that he uses another Indian tribe or a Native American tribe like he did in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because I guess they're easily manipulated.
Well, and I don't even think that's the way.
youth are.
I don't think that's the right way to put it. I think
You think?
they are. Yes, they are. I guess that's. I think that's a harsh way to put it. In the way of like, I think, they are these desperate people who are looking for someone to help them, and then
and the
Dutch comes
youths
along
don't like
and
the-
he just and
they
he's
wanna
using the
rebel.
fact that he does
Yeah.
they don't like the government, he doesn't like the government. But no, I do see what you're saying, and I liked how they carried that over even from Red Dead 1 to Red Dead 2, and I guess retroactively makes that his kind
Real
of past.
quick, going back to where you have to go to the wreck of the Serendipity, is that the casino ship from Red Dead 2?
I don't think that's supposed to be.
That's what I
think it
thought
might
it
be
was.
like a reference, but I don't think it's supposed to be like that exact one. That would be funny if that is the same, because I mean, Gooch, you informed me the last time on here that the Reverend Mother is the same Reverend Mother from Red Dead 2. So there are little things like that I did not pick up on. So it might be.
And speaking of that, just to sort of jump into this since we're talking about those connections, who is the strange man? You said you said
he's
had a
Satan.
That's who it is.
I mean, that's the thought process, because he's like he's this guy in black who keeps coming up to John and making him make these kind of like morale choices and like talking about the people he's killed, and John fucking shoots him at the end and he doesn't die.
Dude, I still don't think I even did that.
You didn't?
Like, we talked about it, and I
So you
remember
meet
being
him
like, oh, I
once
missed
near
him.
the thing, and he's like, "Go." I think we explained
McFarlane's
this.
Ranch.
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Go, either tell this person to cheat on his wife or stop him from doing it." Then you can do either or. And the second time you just meet him, I think in Mexico, and he kind of gives you a whole spiel. Oh, I think you have to like get someone out of like indentured servitude or something like that, or you can give him like opium, and then you just see him at the ranch for the last time. And you know where the last time you meet him is?
On your grave?
On your grave. And where, by the way, John and Abigail get married.
Yep.
Like, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. I love
So
it so
he's
much.
in Red Dead 2. I looked
He
it
is.
up,
He
and he
is.
has like a brief cameo
Yeah.
appearance.
He's like in a mirror, right? Or something. You
I
see
don't
him
know.
in like a...
I couldn't quite like figure out like what it was describing.
Because I've seen it. There's a cabin in the middle of like the
Yeah.
Lemoyne Bayou, and you go in there and you like it's like weirdly, I don't know, like I don't think this is the correct term you can say anymore, but I don't know what the correct like Romani, like gypsy, like inside like magical stuff, like that attire, and then you like
Trio's
look in a
done.
mirror. I am done, and you look in a mirror and like he's like behind you in the reflection or something like that. But yeah, that's people think he's the devil or
Okay.
like
pretty
some
cool.
type of like maybe the angel of death, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, just meeting him and kind of like talking to him about his crimes and stuff like that. And then yeah, I thought that was very poetic.
Yeah, and then there's moments going back to Dutch. There's moments with Dutch with McDougal, which is a pretty funny character, and then just doing missions directly for Ross.
Can I tell you my favorite quote? I think I sent it in the group chat. He's like, "I was hoping they would let me take a sample of the soles of their feet," or something like that. He is a fucking wild,
Yeah, and
insane
then
person.
he's talking to the one Native American guy, and he's like, "No, I'm educated," and he's like, "Oh." Yeah, like he thinks he like knows all this stuff about like the indigenous people, and like he's like so far from it. And then he's doing like cocaine in a syringe or something like that.
Yeah, he's doing morphine. He's like, would you like a shot of cocaine or something like that? It's so he says,
Insane.
but
Mainlining it.
he's literally just shooting it up, and I think that character is funny and a more like a larger example of this game being much more satirical than Red Dead 2. Like Grand Theft Auto and all that is super satirical and it's supposed to be funny and it's supposed to be making fun of a lot of these like tropes. Whereas Red Dead 2, I think, is much more serious. And I mean, there's moments of levity for sure.
No doubt.
But it definitely takes that more seriously. Whereas this likes to have a little bit of fun, especially with a character like that.
Right.
What did you guys think of like I think it's one of the Ross missions with the bank, where Dutch brings up Abigail and how like the whole camp really like had their way with her.
Ran through it. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like but like that seems to be a reoccurring theme even in 2, that like everyone's kind of ragging on John for whatever reason, but like also ragging on him because of Abigail or the fact that he like married the camp whore essentially.
Well, it's more that he won't take care of the child that's obviously his, but John keeps going. It's funny, replaying Red Dead 2, I picked up on this much more because I hung around the camp a lot more. Like, John's like, I don't think he's mine because everyone was fucking her. And he's like, well, how do we know it's mine? And then Arthur's like, John, it's yours. We know he's yours. There's no other person. Because I don't think she was getting run through as much as they're saying. I think the idea is that run through. Like
Jesus.
But she was like a working girl.
She was a working girl, and and then John ended up marrying her because he did end up, having the child. But there was also, I think, a whole plot thread that, like, I mean,
Arthur
you write
and Abigail.
Yeah, he's like, Arthur writes in his notebook, like, I would have married her, I would have taken care of her, and all that stuff. So
I would have taken care.
I would have taken care of you. But yeah, I think that is a whole very interesting kind of plot thread to kind of pull at for sure.
Casey, anything?
Nah, it pretty much sums it up. I just think, I look at it more as like, yeah, it may or may not be true that she was like run through, but it's just another like glimpse of how like desperate and like cornered Dutch is. Like, he's just throwing insults out like crazy. Like, he's just going for kill shots, like throw people off their game, buying time for his escape. Like, I didn't read into him. I thought, wow, that sucks. Someone's talking about your wife that way. Like, for sure, I absolutely thought that. But like, I didn't get like too hung up on it. Truthfully, I just kind of was like, wow, Dutch is like going through it. Like,
right.
I looked at it more of as a reflection of him being a piece of shit than like her and her past.
Yeah, for sure. I
and even Ross does it too, right? Like they bring it up, right? The
yeah.
agents. So like they all just are kind of kicking him while he's down.
Yeah.
Right. I saw it as that, but also just like
the flip.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I think it did. All right, we were talking about Abigail and getting run through.
What's the error?
So Gooch has to put that
the button
to keep
the button pressed or whatever.
Yeah, it might not have been pressed. It might have just it probably just came off. That's all right.
Now back to your
That's a pretty easy
regular scheduled program.
Yeah, I was talking about
Ross bringing it back up, or saying it as well, or you said that, Ross.
And then we were talking about Abigail. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think it was
through.
I just I just think it was interesting that he like stoops that low to say that, but like I also felt like yeah, why is he saying it? Like, it is
Ross. I'm sorry.
No, Dutch.
Yeah.
Like, it is a jab, and he's totally trying to jab at him. Like, but like also it's like, is that true? And I guess we do kind of know that there is some kind of truth in it that.
So when I was looking this up, I couldn't find a lot of confirmation of this anywhere else, so I didn't really add it. But I do remember the gentleman who plays Dutch talking about how I think some of the initial motivation for Dutch was that he actually did love Abigail back in the day, and like he wanted to marry her.
Didn't do that.
And like, I don't know. It's not that like, yeah, exactly. Like they didn't carry that over to Red Dead 2.
Yeah,
like that was kind of more like
lame.
the internal motivation that like maybe he actually thought he was Jack's father, and like he felt like she had like left him, so that's why he also rags on her a lot, like fuck her, like kind of a scorned lover.
Sure.
But I don't want to diverge too quickly, but I do want to ask you guys this. I had this thought in my mind. Do you think Ross treats John unfairly? Like, do you think with what John has done, Do you think that obviously probably you shouldn't kidnap his family, but he is a known and wanted fugitive who did many terrible things that the government is seeking him for?
I will say yes, and that's it. I'll let Casey answer,
Yes,
and then we can
what?
deliberate. Yes, Ross treats John unfairly
Okay.
because he lies to him.
In what way?
He kills him.
For sure in that way. Yeah. But I think
totally lies
like
to
I
him.
think that's very fucked. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. It's this thought of like, should John be able to get away with his sins? Like, should he have gotten off scot-free? Or do you think that, like, I don't know, should he just probably gone to jail, right? Like, that was probably would have been the right idea.
I think no is probably the boiled down version of what I'm trying to like formulate, I guess. But I don't know. You think about like your point. John did horrendous shit many times through over years and years of being with Dutch and his gang. He turned it around. Yeah, he got out of the life. Like, he's trying to like do his thing as an honest rancher, but like it remains that he did all that stuff.
Right.
For whatever reason, and we happen to see it through the lens of like,
John's the man.
He's the anti-hero. He's our guy.
Exactly.
Like, we're on his side, but like if you were a government agent chasing him down, and I think Ross is a piece of shit and he's like a rogue ass agent, and like, he's just doing it's like it's the whole thing with like the FBI. It's like too much power with one person. Like, he's a bad dude too.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's like he's working in like he treated him unfairly, but John didn't not deserve it. It's
He
like
has a more legitimate reason. He has somewhat of a legitimate reason. Yeah.
And like, I guess, he lied. The Ross lying is a big thing that like makes me hesitate. But like at the end of the day, like he seemingly gave John a chance to like win his freedom back. Yeah, he reneged on that and was like an asshole for it. But like, I don't know. I think like
could have just sent him to jail.
John doesn't
For
necessarily.
sure. Yeah.
But he also didn't necessarily deserve any. They could have shot him dead. Like,
That's what I. So
Yeah,
they used
like,
him. They used him to as like a means to an end, like to get them
then
what
they
they
got
wanted.
rid of
and
him.
then
tossed
got
him
rid
out.
of the means.
As
With
means,
John.
At the end.
So like, I don't know. The boiled down version is like, no, he wasn't treated unfairly. Like he lived
I
a
think
very
they both-
bad
yeah.
life, and it was just a bad situation. And like, you're mad. I personally was mad. Like the whole every time I played, I'm so pissed that like Ross is gonna get his way.
exactly.
But yeah, like John he earned it. Like his past caught up to him. And like,
I
it
do
sucked.
think it's interesting. John kind of puts up with a lot of shit through this whole game. Like in Mexico, he is just watching atrocities sort of happen in the name of his family. He's just kind of
Sure, like he's not intervening. Because like why
I'm
would-
going to threaten you and then do nothing.
Yeah.
He threatens people
Yeah.
all the time
Yeah.
and does nothing about it.
Yeah.
He threatens Ross and the other agent like 3 or 4 times. I just want to see my family. Like, where's my family?
That
where's
part
my
did
family?
start getting
constantly.
Yeah.
But like,
especially there. Yeah.
I think the writing is purposeful because like I think he's just like he actually won't do it. Like he won't kill them, but like he'll sure as hell act like he will.
Well, but I think
Or,
'cause
like,
he knows-
he would have in the past, but now I don't think he would.
But I actually disagree. I think he would if they didn't have his family.
Right.
That's the whole point. And I think that's where like the government line is okay up until the point where they kidnap his family and force him to do labor for them of some kind of
Sure.
like or do a task of some kind. Like really, they should have just captured him and put him in jail and hung him. Probably is the legal way to do it.
Right.
But
And possibly
But I
Abigail.
think
too.
Ross-
Like,
just like Ross sicks John after these members, he's putting them all down like dogs.
well, but he's putting them down in a way that doesn't make them martyrs. He talks about it. He's like, it's much, and that's why at the end when he kills himself, Dutch, Ross walks up and he's like, "Can I see your gun?" And he's like, "Sure." And he just takes it and he shoots him. He's like, "Looks better for the report that way." Because the idea is it's this cold-blooded killer who's out for revenge on a gang that wronged him. Oh, and then we put down that dog. It's not like we had to go out and take down these people and we made them into these martyrs that the government had to seek out and eliminate. Dutch was taken down by the government. We need to fight the government. No, Dutch was just killed in an inner gang skirmish by John Marston, who hated him because he left him for dead.
They don't have to get into the whys of why they were fighting against the government or what they believed in. It's just the what happened. It's like,
John
dog eat dog.
to like
that's all.
twist his own narrative there.
Exactly, because it just to make it look better for them. And you hear them talk about this Governor Nate Johns throughout the game. You hear it at the beginning when they're on the train and stuff.
That little mission.
And he's the guy who's organizing all this, basically. He is the governor. Like, you hear them talking about on the train, like, Governor Nate Johns is trying to clean up the county and la da da da, and then you hear Ross. I think he mentions the Governor Nate Johns or something like that. But he seems to be the governor or like government actor that is harshly instigating this stuff within this territory. And Ross is his tool, and he's a very good tool.
Gotcha.
Apparently.
I didn't catch on to that necessarily.
And that's why I have him in our fun facts of where he ends up. But yeah, there's a whole kind of sub layer to this story about that I really have kind of picked up on after my fucking 10 playthroughs of this game.
Reading the papers and
exactly,
all that,
doing all that stuff. And I that is a really big hallmark of a Rockstar game, in my opinion, just those little fine details.
It's like GTA Radio where it just talks about stuff.
I don't know why I feel like this makes sense to put here, but I remember you asking us, I think like last episode, like, oh, like, have you guys been like doing the challenges?
Oh yeah,
like while you've been playing. This is like obviously a good point in the game to like wrap all that shit up.
Sure.
I feel like leaving all that stuff for the epilogue kind of makes the post game shitty.
It does.
Yeah,
I know. Exactly
there's
what
a
you mean.
lot of like grindy sort of things, and in that grind I've discovered again the negative things I don't like about this game. The horse stuff we talked about, I don't like the horse buying system. I won't go into it because Trio
no, Jay, I actually don't like what, like, I want you to explain because I don't want to cut that off.
I just don't.
I didn't buy one horse, so
the way you buy horses is just, I think, silly. It's just a dumb system.
It's much more video
like
gamey.
Here's the bond, now you have the horse forever, and like
you call it whenever you want.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it weird. But you can also rent a horse and not have a bond. Why?
What do you mean rent a horse?
You can just buy the horse, and when it dies, you don't get it back. You can't just use the bond to summon another.
Where do you buy the horse?
What do you mean?
The stables. The few stables that there are.
You mean,
I mean, there's no stables. You only get them at
the horse breaking pens.
You can only get them at general stores. The horse deeds.
No, isn't there?
Are they the horse breaking pens?
Did you just take a horse from there? You can't buy a horse from there.
I thought you could buy a single horse and not have a bond for it.
I don't know. So if your horse dies, one will show up just automatically. That's like a shitty horse.
No, but if you have a horse bond, you can just...
You call it. Yeah.
I'm curious about I never heard of the rental.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
You can just buy a horse single as is. Or if you go
from who? Like, where are you going?
I could have sworn like there's like a very few amount of stables like around. Like, I know there's one in like Chupa Rosa.
Is it? Are you
like the horse breaking thing is also a stable that you can just buy a horse from?
I don't think you can.
And I was reading about it too.
I didn't know.
I've never noticed that in my entire 10 playthroughs, Gooch. I thought you could only buy you can do the horse breaking jobs and then you can buy deeds at the general store.
But the horse breaking jobs, like, can you leave with that horse?
You would probably fail it, but yeah, I'm assuming.
That's what I don't even.
That's
remember.
Would be my guess.
After the forced one, I didn't do any of them.
I mean, Gooch, you might be informing us of something I've never even experienced.
I'm looking at it real quick again
because I know how I would always do it. I would break those stallions as I was playing the game, and then I'd buy those horse deeds. So that way, if they're expensive, but like if one dies, I just call the new one in.
I'm probably not going to be able to find this information, so never mind.
It doesn't exist.
but yeah, I don't know that.
I don't like how you don't have a health gauge. I just find that kind of odd.
Just don't get hit.
Well, the screen gets darker.
Easier said than done. When the cougar jumps you and fucks you up every single fucking time.
Shotgun, dude.
Bear after bear after bear.
Yeah, there's so many bears in tall trees. I don't understand why.
I'm just like, dude.
I remember skinning like 23
dude,
bears.
And then the save
you never need
system,
money again.
If the save system wasn't shit too, I wouldn't care if I got killed by the bear and I had everything.
It's supposed to be hard though. Like, it's not. You're not supposed. There's supposed to be risk and reward.
You're not
to going out in tall
mean
trees.
It's bad.
Because dude,
I agree with you though that
you found like for those last few challenges with picking the herbs and stuff. You have to get a lot of them, and then you're in tall trees, and then a bear comes out of you from out of the fucking woodwork, and you're dead. Well, and that's it.
Got to keep your head on a swivel. There's bears out there. I do agree though that there's just too many of them. because
Dead
it does
eye,
start to
The
break the
never-ending
immersion.
wolves.
Because the wolves,
Yeah.
and then I think their idea was to just try and give you something of an obstacle within tall trees because it's supposed to be so much like more wild.
Yeah.
But it's like almost it's immersion breaking when I have another bear
17
showing
bears.
up and there's 20 bear carcasses around
Yeah.
me that have been skinned.
Right.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
Aren't grizzlies like pretty solitary? Other than like their
Yeah,
cubs
you.
and, like,
I mean, there
mating,
wouldn't
like,
maybe like 2 or 3. You wouldn't.
like
I
you
think
can't
you might find
can't,
2 together.
The
but like
environment like cannot support a
20
certain amount.
bears,
They're just
yeah.
Right.
nothing to kill them, and they kill everything.
Yeah, I get like, okay, sure, maybe hate the player right now, but like I just find all this bullshit like so unnecessary. Like again, I'm fine with it being hard if you're auto saving me and I don't lose all my progress because again, the 14th bear, like I thought I was done after 13, and the 14th bear is the one who fucking killed
Dude,
me.
but if you
it
did
happens
it-
so many times, and again, when you ragdoll and the game just doesn't know how to like get you up, and you have to time it so well, go into your menu, use a medicine so you can survive the second cougar lunge. I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
But it's all snappy and quick. Like if I would be more annoyed if I had to pull up my menu and it was like 2, 3. Okay, I can get to the menu now. Like every fucking game these days. Like I don't know. I think the menus are snappy, quick, and for the time very good. I think looking back on them with the glasses of today, I understand, and I don't think that's all you're saying, Gooch. I think you have some very valid critiques, especially with the bear stuff, because it's just insane. Like it really is. But I do think that's the part of the point is that it doesn't autosave, and there's some risk and reward to being up there, and you need to go collect your pelts and then get back to a save point. It's not supposed to autosave and make it super easy for you,
Yeah.
But should there be 80 bears showing up?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, and I'm working on my 100%. That's pretty much all I have to do in the main campaign, and I have to do the bounties. And I'm like, how the hell,
bounties were
how
one
would
that I
you
didn't-
know how to like? You have to do 8 in New Austin, 4 in West Elizabeth, and then 8 in Mexico. I'm like, why would you know that?
Well,
Like,
they
that's
start
what the
repeat-
menus are for, dude.
I know.
Yeah,
that's
and they don't tell you like how many of how many, but it just like I'm like it's a bit strange because I'm like,
Can you hit like triangle on the info thing and see how many you have
oh
left?
fuck, maybe you can.
I don't know.
Like
no,
all those challenges
No, I
they
know.
need are like
Those
collect
aren't challenges.
this.
They're just in the score menu.
it's
like
in your
the
statistics
stats,
menu.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might be able to. I don't know though. Actually, I don't think you can because I feel like I've tried that before too.
Because I got all my outfits and stuff, and again, I just was like, because you were saying this, I was just like, yeah, saving it for post game, it just makes it all a bit
I've done it before and it just is not like it was good
You're
because
not, you're not gonna want to do it.
right.
like,
I'm
well,
at the
and
point
the
where I'm like,
grindy
all
stuff
right,
is the
I'm
worst
getting-
because like I was doing like horseshoes I had to win or like one of the challenges with gambling.
the 1,000 gambling.
Like
is-
I was doing a few
awful.
missions, then and you can only do that once. At least I only did it once I got to West Elizabeth because you have the high stakes poker game there.
right at Blackwater.
So
yeah.
like I just tried to intersperse it there and make it not as bad, and especially like the hunting stuff, like looking around for the skunks.
dude,
Yeah.
the skunks.
I told you.
Oh,
I'm like, when you're
Armadillo.
looking for
Armadillo.
something in this game, I don't know
yeah,
what it is.
that's what I did. That's what
Yeah.
I did. Exactly what you
happened.
said.
Yeah.
I doubted you at first, Casey. I'm like, nah, this isn't working. And then I went back and I did it, and I'm like, I got it working like a fine
Well,
machine.
The gambling one.
Yeah.
I was so mad at not myself. I was actually mad at the game
Yeah.
because I got to
Oh,
Beecher's,
mad at the
I
game,
got to
huh?
Beecher's Hope. Yeah, dude, mad at the game. I got to Beecher's Hope, and you can't change your outfit after that.
Yeah.
So I was like, all I want to do is go to the high stakes poker table, and I happened to be like,
That's
I think I was
That's
at,
a
like,
weird-
because dude, it's overall. It's
a
not,
very
it's
immer-
not
yeah.
do it. You know, you
Yeah.
can't. You have to be plus 1,000
Yeah,
in all
exactly.
your gambling. So like, I was at like 750. I was like, oh, that's so doable. Lose like $1 billion playing poker at the $100 table
See-
at the hotel in the hotel in Blackwater.
It's so
And
easy
then-
to manipulate.
Dude,
though.
that took me like sessions. I would just sit down and play poker for sessions. Like
mean-
after work, before I started cooking dinner or something like that, I would just be like, I'll just like play a couple of games of poker.
I'll just play some hands.
I would get
Yeah.
up, Bunk Trimble, that motherfucker. I would
Bunk
get up,
Trimble.
dude. I would get up from the table, back up, pull out the explosive rifle, shoot the table, and then load my game and go and play again. I was so crazy.
So the
I
thing
was
that
so
would,
mad.
the thing that would give me the most issue with so I did that, but I was lucky that I did get it all done beforehand. But I played on the hardcore mode, and that
Oh, and I
makes sure-
couldn't cheat with the sleeve.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted.
And
to
I
do.
would save so what I would do in case I did lose a lot, I would go hard save at the hotel and then play again. And then if I lost a bunch, I'd be like, all right, I'm reloading.
So what you can do to fast save is you just use the horse bond. It saves the game, and you don't have to go to the what's it called?
So that wasn't work. Yeah, that's what I would do for most things. But like that was fucking up when I was trying to do it with like gambling stuff. It wasn't saving it right.
Yeah,
so I would go back and hard save. The thing that gave me the biggest issue though, being on hardcore, was getting max honor.
Dude, once I started going for my 5K bounty, that honor.
Well, dude, by the end of the game on
bandana.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think of that.
Are you serious? The bandana is the cheat code.
I honestly think like besides that, I never used that.
So
thing.
you just tanked the shit out of your honor.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I would always.
I'm at the end of the game,
dude. I would always.
Did you reload once you got the achievement? You could have done that.
I found that illegitimate.
Well, so you could. But I'm confused. Why did your bounty? Why did your honor go down so much?
Because he wasn't.
Because I just slayed Armadillo over and over and over.
Oh, and this was to get what?
There's an achievement. You have to get a $5,000 bounty and then use a bounty slip.
Yeah, dude. I just did that in. Yeah, why would I guess that makes sense,
dude.
I did mine in Blackwater. After a while, the cops just stopped coming, and I was on hardcore. They were fucking me. So
I'm sure
you can once the marshals start coming, you kill them all, and then they stop. Yeah, that's just what happens. And then you have to go away from the town, circle back, kill another person. They'll come again.
So what happened with me? There was a guy in,
and sometimes they get you.
Sometimes they do. There was a guy in the station that I could not kill for some reason. So like the cops would just keep spawning in, and I knew the spot, so I was just like knocking them out. I mean, it took me like an hour to get to it, but I finally got it. But the honor was the most annoying part for me because I'd get half honor as normal, because by the end of the game you'd get max honor, no issue. But I was like 3/4 of the way there, so I just had to keep cheating at poker and getting in duels and disarming people. Took me a lot longer than I wanted to, but it was doable.
Is it?
Thankfully.
What's the deal? Because I actually didn't use the cheat suit. I can't even remember how it works. Like
I don't even. You have to like keep
nail
it within. It's
I
like
tried
a mini
using
game.
it and I like fucked it up.
I don't know exactly. You have to like keep it within. You have to press Y or something and like keep it within a certain radius thing.
Right.
I just kept failing every time, so that way I would trigger the duel. But I didn't really use it that often actually to even gamble, which is funny enough.
Right.
Yeah, I think that kind of covers us on most of the. Anything else, Gooch?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go back
until we get
Dutch
to the
dying,
and
then, the Beecher's Hope portion. We kill Dutch, and the game kind of like it weird. It's like it ends and then like it doesn't. Then there's like more, and John's family's released. You go back to Beecher's Hope. Where were you, John? Where were you? Abigail's beating on you, like you idiot, and like that's your first meeting of her, and I think it kind of not like it feels like makes sense from how I know Abigail in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Absolutely.
So that wasn't like it, but I think it is kind of jarring. You wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
Right.
You expect maybe
John doesn't talk about her that way.
Right, yeah.
So she comes in hot, and you're like, whoa.
And she does kind of rail on him the rest of the game. Most of,
she's a tough bitch, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's a girl boss. No,
Respectfully. Yeah. She's a girl boss.
She's a 1911's girl boss.
Yeah.
And I do like that kind of whole interaction.
A pre-suffrage girl boss.
Yeah, exactly. I like the interaction with her and Bonnie, actually, that mission where you go to help her with the grain.
Yeah,
and things
I was going to bring
that
that up because, I think they get a letter and she's like all accusatory of
John.
I
can't read.
Yeah.
Like,
who's this, who's this lady? And, like she's all.
What's it say? Yeah.
It is so funny because John feels like how many times does he like reject women or reject? I'm married. I have a family. I just want to get home to my family. And then Abigail's like, "You cheating son of a bitch." It's.
Well, I don't
weird.
even think it's like she's just like, I thought you were gone again. Like what happened? Like I don't even think she thinks like he's cheating.
Does she not fully understand what he was doing?
That's the other thing that kind of confuses me.
She never flat out.
She seems to understand. She's like, you saw Dutch again, and he's like, yeah, I saw him, and then. That's kind of the end of it, but I feel like most of the end is like very.
And he doesn't say he killed them. He doesn't tell her that.
Well, and
I think she probably knows, whatever.
And she because she's like, and you didn't go back to him, and he's like, no, I didn't go back to him.
But in that in a similar vein, the few missions, it is so funny how the game tries to fool you that you do a few missions of oh, by the way, the herding cattle, I get it. at the end of the game, I was like, all right. All right.
It is funny how
All
there's
right.
only 3 cow herding missions in this game, and
they're
they're
all
more
the
than
way.
enough.
Oh, they're
Like,
horrible.
It's 3 too many.
But like, yeah, you're
terrible.
just doing everyday stuff that's monotonous, and it does kind of remind me of Red Dead Redemption 2.
how in the you just get a farming sim at the end.
And the
yeah.
game, the game's like really trying to like fool you into this like lull of like false hope that like John
Yeah, this moment with
succeeded
Jack,
and,
like,
and
yeah.
he's gone. And back to my point, what I was talking about, like he has like, a lot of conversations with Jack, and Jack's like downing John, and like and he's like, no, I'll be there for you, son, that kind of thing, and like you kind of think like at this
You're just
point,
gonna run off
even
again.
with Abigail, like she would like have more faith in him at this point.
Well, I think Abigail does by
Like I get Jack, it kind of makes sense.
I think she did once he came back and was like, yeah, I didn't go back. She's like, okay, good. I was a little worried, but it looks like he did the job. But yeah, Jack has kind of had this thing of like you even see it in Red Dead. He was apparently Red Dead 2. Like you're told he's gone for a while, John, and he comes back to the gang. That's a whole big thing with Arthur.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
everyone just kind of accepted him back. If I'd been gone for that long, or anyone else had been gone for that long, they'd be fucking out. Like he was kind of an absentee father to Jack, so he doesn't trust that he's gonna kind of be there. And I think it was cool to see that growth even in those like 4 missions, and like how he's kind of trying to prove himself to John.
Yeah, and how Jack is so different from John right now. What I think is very interesting, how like he's so
Books,
for somebody who's raised in a gang
Yeah.
around murder, and I guess like those kind of things, he seems like very detached from it. And like living in the books, and which I find interesting, because that's kind of like is he like doing that but like in his head? He's not just like, he doesn't want to do it actually, but he likes imagining it.
No, it is interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, books, the video games of their day, as I was going to say.
Right. Comic
It is
books,
just funny to me. Like, I do love the idea of John being like, get your head out. Stop reading those books and get outside.
You're trying to
like,
get yourself dumb?
Yeah, why don't you go do some
let's
real
go
stuff?
kill a bear.
Yeah, like what the hell? Let's get skinning. Have you ever skinned an elk? Let's skin an elk.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That is a funny concept to me, because like it is.
And
it
in,
happens with just different things today.
He kills the elk, right? Like John helps him,
And you
kill
kind
it.
of,
and
it
put
is
down.
funny. They do lay the groundwork of like, oh, you're gonna play as Jack. Like he's kind of teaching him these things in certain ways and stuff like that. But like, don't
In
get me wrong.
hindsight, it's easy to say that.
Oh,
but
I agree. I don't
Yeah.
mean that in the way of like, this is very clearly like in the moment you'd be able to pick up on this and be like, oh well, I'm gonna come play as Jack now. But you can kind of see the seeds more often. And I mean, yeah, that entire ending moment, I just still remember like my jaw on the floor. I mean, before you even get there. But I do like just the whole family dynamic, and yeah, seeing Uncle be like, you understand, especially from 2, why he's kind of put up with, which is interesting, because you see him in this game and you're like, who's this annoying
Why is
fuck?
he not gone by now?
Tell this guy to leave. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not
He's
your
an
uncle?
old man.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. But I think the whole farm area, you're right, it lulls you into this false sense, and then the cavalry arrives. Do we want to get into the end?
yeah, sure.
Well, dude, I was gonna say before you even do that,
Yeah.
the 2 things actually. So where you were talking about him going hunting, and it's like, oh, this might be a setup for like you playing as Jack. I got the same thing. It was just like a passing thing that I'm just thinking about, like with God of War and Last of Us Part 1. Like there were points in those games where I was like, damn, I feel like I'm playing a lot as like, and it wasn't even a lot like just as like Atreus or Ellie, and I'm like, wow, like that, like it struck chords while I was playing. I was like, damn, are they setting me up for something?
Right.
And then this, like, I never got that.
Out of nowhere.
I never
Yeah.
got that for this game. Like even though like it totally makes sense what you're saying.
No, it's true.
So like that was just something I was thinking about. And then the other thing was, the first time I played this, I never played what we're about to talk about. Like
Oh,
I
this is the
never
last part?
never
Oh, like the
actually
final,
never actually did it.
Okay,
I have,
so-
I have no idea
like
why.
in the epilogue.
In the full, like,
Literally
so
no
after
idea why.
John's.
Like I was just like back at Beecher's Hope. Like,
dude, I didn't
cool.
know.
No
Honestly,
idea why I
my
never
first
did.
2 playthroughs, I probably didn't do it either. Honestly,
what it
so
was. They don't make you do it.
because you don't. I mean, there's like
They don't make
stranger.
you.
So
Right, it's not obvious.
No, it's really
But
not
you know
obvious
what's
at
funny?
all.
I like, even though I didn't know where I was supposed to go, you get railroaded into it pretty easy.
well, it's in and it's it starts in Blackwater. So like, I think the idea is you're supposed to see that. But before we even get to like Jack,
Yeah, that's about.
it is funny that you say that though, because I did the exact same thing the first couple times. So the cavalry shows up, and it's kind of this very slow mo
real quick.
Yeah.
The inclusion of the army I find is interesting, especially at the end of the game.
Right.
Like the army is getting sent after John, not just like Pinkerton,
But
government
think about
agent.
the story,
it's the army.
But think about the story now. This madman has been tearing across the country, killing all his former gang members in a fit of revenge. We need the army to come in and take this guy down.
Yeah, it makes
I don't
sense,
think
yeah.
they have any. I think the idea is like the army men.
They're just on a mission.
They're being told by the government to go take this
Civilized.
murderer
Right,
down.
they got orders. Yeah.
and they've been told, look, he just killed Bill Williams. He killed Dutch Vanderlyn, the most
He went to
dangerous man
Mexico
to kill.
and he helped them with the revolution,
Yeah.
and now he's back.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so funny to think about it in that way. And it's just this kind of, it starts out as this nice moment with Jack where, he's woodworking and like John's sitting there
that's it, boy.
and he's talking about it. And it's just a nice, like wholesome moment. And then Uncle is just like, John, you got to get out of here. And it just slowly tumbles downhill. And that moment where you're just taking on all the army men. And you're like, dude, what the fuck is even gonna I wish I could go back and re-experience this the first time again. I wish you could have not known this was coming. Huge.
Right.
It's impossible to not. I feel like at this point, in
it's
gaming
like
history.
one of the. It's like, I mean, I don't. For people watching, it's probably like this, like that Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII. It's like one of the most known deaths in video games. Like,
Yeah.
I would find it hard to believe if somebody played that game for the first time, they didn't know that moment was coming up. It's just.
I'd be the only person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Or even like, I wonder like if we'll get to a point where Joel dying in The Last of Us 2 is like.
Kind
one
of
those-
forgot.
I think it.
Right,
I
or
think
like
it
everyone
is.
knows.
Everyone knows.
I think
yeah.
it is at this point.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Anyway.
But and then they surround John. John tells his family to leave, and
Like, he
has,
knows
Yeah,
he's
he's like,
dying.
this is it.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
sends them
He's
out,
not getting out.
and
I don't know if he does though. Go
I
ahead.
think
I,
he
I,
does.
I think he's kind of just accepted like whatever's going to happen right
Or
now
maybe
is
he's
going to
tired
happen.
and he's just like, I'm done.
And that moment
can't
where
do
he's
it.
like, he sends them out the back, and the army's clearly not there for them; they're there for him. And he like kind of peeks out the barn door and just kind of takes a breath.
Yeah.
And then he walks out, and there's just a fucking army, literally, of people just with
And
guns
Ross.
aimed at. And Ross can't kill him, which is,
no, it sucks.
it's unfortunate. But
Yeah, you can't go over and deadeye him.
no, you can't deadeye him or anything. So I think you can.
It's pretty
The
funny.
max you can do is like 20 people in there or something like that. Apparently, like that.
Well, if you
Have like a
Dude, I got,
something like the
like
highest
4 or
level
5.
revolver or whatever, or like the semi-automatic maybe.
The Evans repeater or something is like a 20
Yeah,
some
I think,
round.
or maybe it's just one of the highest pistol. But
dude, using the high-powered pistol in that moment would just seem so wrong.
exactly, it's
You
true.
know, I think using those guns, I'm like, ooh.
See, I like the high power pistol.
No, I
like it.
agree.
It
No,
just-
and like the
it's not
using
thematic.
it. Well, that's what I mean. I like using it because it's like even though he's like fighting against it like all the whole time, or like just trying.
He wants to get out of it.
Yeah. But like I'm like,
He
you
would
know,
take the best option available.
Yeah, he sees like okay, he did kind of grow up and
Like
out of that.
Dutch.
So like, it makes more sense for John to use it than Dutch. In my
No,
head.
that makes sense. I totally agree.
because he left, but
Absolutely,
It's
a
like
little bitch. And
Deadeye.
you deadeye as many people as you can, and then they just light John up.
I forgot how violent it is.
Yeah, and he kind of drops to his knees, and he's like terrible sounds, and then he just kind of falls.
They don't
And
get
They don't really give. It's not. There's no grant. And then Ross, everyone just kind of goes, okay, and then they just turn and walk away. They don't even fucking take the
Dude,
body
they
or
don't
anything.
give him a last word.
They don't give him anything.
That was so tough. I was like, "Fuck, does he say anything?" I
Yeah.
can't remember. And then,
You know what's funny? I was kind of like watching some video essays on the game and like kind of looking back, and this all starts because Dutch killed Micah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he was
Well-
like the informant, right?
Well, it's not the fact that he was the informant, the fact that like they were back and they were still alive. Like he didn't know that they lived.
Well, no, I think it's really John's fault for going to kill Micah.
Yeah,
That's
for sure,
right. Yeah, it's his.
But
act
Dutch is
of
the one
going-
who actually killed.
Exactly.
Micah.
It's John not being able to let it go because I think he had. And I also
He
think
got
it's
out.
John not committing to Milton. Just say your name's Jim Milton. No one's looking into that, John. Just commit to the new name. And like that's, they have records of like, oh, John Marston's living out in Beecher's Hope. I wonder where we'll find him.
Yeah.
And then he shows up and has it out with Micah and the whole gang. And I think you see it at the end in the credits. Them watching John on the ranch. You see Agent Ross.
and Ross flips over Micah's corpse and
Yeah.
like he's like, all right.
Yeah, well,
They're
but then
still
you see,
alive. They're still going at each other.
you
I
watch
don't
the full
remember that
credits
well.
though, right? Because there's one part where it's Ross
Yes.
and them like literally looking over Beecher's Hope at like John as he's like working on the farm, and they're like, "All right, well, we know where this guy is," and they kind of walk away.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's John's fault. He was out.
Yeah,
he
he was out.
And guess what? Abigail was like, "Don't go." She's like, "Do not go." That whole moment when she's like crying and like
Sadie was going to
begging him
go
not to.
regardless, right?
Well, yeah, and she was like, "I have to. You deserve to know that I'm going to do this." Because I think by the time in that game, she's like,
what a turnaround for her.
"Oh, dude, she's
Not
so
to get
good."
total off
I know
topic
we
of
could
Sadie
have a
Adler.
whole nother podcast on Reddit too, but it is just funny
in 10
to
years when you play that again. Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
when how it all wraps around, man. It's just, mwah, it's so good. And,
Yeah, it is a
it's
very good
thematic.
story.
It
Yeah.
really is. And then
There's
so
almost nobody who didn't get what they deserved.
it's true.
Like, for better or worse, however
Well,
you feel
Did
about
Lenny
it. It's like,
deserve that?
that's what I'm saying. It's
Lenny
almost
deserve
it's almost nobody, you know. And
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, he was running with them.
Yeah.
Same with
All these.
what's his
Oh,
face?
yeah.
The Mick.
God, why
I'm not calling.
Sean.
Yeah, I was
Sean,
gonna say
yeah, the
I am
Irishman.
Irish. I'm not calling him a Mick, but I was like, yeah. Nah,
That's funny.
I was
That's like
like, is his name Mick? I literally thought that was
No, yeah, it's Sean when he
yeah,
gets his face blown off. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in the middle of telling a joke.
yeah, again,
Real
they're
Fred
bad.
Weasley. Yeah.
He's the O'Driscoll, right?
No,
he's the
that's-
redheaded Irish dude.
Who's the O'Driscoll?
Sean, who is who you save? Remember from he?
No, right. But who's the O'Driscoll guy?
I can't remember his name,
Kieran.
but Kieran, yeah.
Yeah.
He gets fucked up by the O'Driscolls. Like, he
Yeah.
gets, like, disemboweled. I forgot what I was going to say. Just
Well, no, I think where you were heading to
You're
lead
just
into
saying
the
how
epilogue,
like
but-
the way everything tied together and ties
Oh, yeah.
back into two and
it's
was
a
so-
masterclass of writing.
You gave it a
It really is, yeah. A good little chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And then we get to the epilogue, which after, so John's dead and it cuts to you as Jack with Abigail on the back of the horse, and you ride back and you have this moment, this sad moment where they bury John, like right where we said you meet that gentleman right under the tree where he's married. Very poignant, very sad moment. And then it cuts to 4 years later as it seems like Jack just buried his mom. I would assume, at least that seems to be what it's implying.
yeah.
And yeah, Jack's now kind of taken after his father. And
Yes. Good.
no, yeah, and he's the game seems to the credits have not rolled, so you kind of are this felt like with this moment of like, oh, it's over, it's done. You don't even
Right.
really think about it, and then you can go and find the stranger's mission in Blackwater, and you start asking about Ross, and it leads you through the Merry West.
You know this man, Edgar Ross.
Yeah,
You don't
And,
like Jack's face?
Oh no, I don't like Jack's face. It's a weird, like little angular
Triangle,
Like, it's
yeah.
not good. I don't know what's going on. Also, his voice annoys me when how he keeps
Let's
always.
go. Let's go.
I did this for you, Dad. Like, shut up. Stop talking to yourself about this. Just
What year
skin
is
skin the animal. It's
Oh,
okay.
you mean like Lara Croft in every one of the new Tomb
No,
Raider
dude, it's
games,
so
just
true.
talking for
Yeah.
no reason?
I think I have to get back up on that ledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we follow the trail of Edgar Ross down to West Elizabeth, down through West Elizabeth, down to New Austin again, where we meet his wife, and she tells us he's on a little fishing trip
With his
down
bro.
in Mexico and with his brother.
Talk about wife of the year.
I know,
Just
right?
ratting
Also,
out your-
brother of the year too. Like, do you not
fucking
know? Like,
idiot.
this is a man who was a lawman of some kind. He was part of the
dumb.
Pinkertons apparently, but we don't know that. Like,
Right.
it's never said in this game. And you're just telling this guy where he's at. What the fuck? You don't even know. I guess he's a courier. Whatever.
I kind of looked at that as like, dude, it's a weird. Back in those days, like where you just meet people and it's like, do you trust people or or do you assume everybody's out to get you? Like,
Well,
I think it's
especially when you're out in the
weird,
middle.
like,
Yeah.
it's out there like frontier type stuff, like where you're like, I literally have no idea who you are, but I guess
Okay.
I'll just
Yeah.
extend courtesy
Exactly.
and hope that everyone does the same to me.
Well,
but it, like, yeah,
And especially when your husband's like an FBI agent of a
Yeah.
type,
Oh,
that
yeah.
like a famed FBI agent
Right.
that took down
Retired
lots of people.
famously.
Right.
Like, and-
Right.
is living in like not the lap of luxury, but
No, he's got a nice
quiet
retirement.
life.
Yeah. And by the way, you can
Fishing
read his
trip.
retirement like thing in the
Yeah.
newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
it's like-
I did
yeah.
actually read that one.
So yeah, you find him finally, and you face him. You duel him, and you tell him you fucking killed my father, and he's like, I kind of appreciate his
died
candor. He's
like a
like,
fucking dog.
yeah, I fucking would do it again too. Basically, like, yeah, he was a piece of shit.
I think it's like, oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
No shit, dude.
Of course you do. And yeah, you have a little shootout. Well, no, a duel, I should say.
yeah.
And you kill him.
Dude,
and
you can even call it that. I put like 14 rounds right into his face. It was so
duels
funny.
were like murder.
It was actually comically slow, like overdone, like how
Right.
slow, because it was like dead on the first shot, and then it's just like bow, bow, bow,
Yeah,
bow, and he's still just like,
and his body's floating in the
Yeah.
water. And I did not know about the title card drop at the end.
and that's where
Yeah.
you get the title card and the credits roll, and you're
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
this is the
yeah.
actual end of the game.
yeah. It's a long from Dutch to that. Like it can go as quick as you want it to, but it's like a long.
No,
It's
it's
not
true.
that much stuff. But
It's
it
it's
feels
really
long.
not that much.
No, it's
in
literally
terms of
like another
time.
mission, but like, yeah, if you're doing your other stuff, you're not even really like realizing
Took
what
me a
that
while.
mission is. Maybe I just don't know how I missed that the first, because I'm like you said before,
I kind of get it.
I just didn't even. I was like,
know.
the game's done.
And I remember it's funny that you'd even thought you had to tell me. To
Well,
go
I
find
just
him,
was like, I just wanted to make sure. I was
Yeah,
like,
he's like-
did you roll credits? And you were like, yes. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, like I know about all.
I
about,
assumed you did, but-
Jack's little
Roll credits is a good way to ask it.
escapade.
Not what have you done, just credits.
Yeah, have you seen the
know
credits?
You know what's funny though? They do the same thing in Red Dead Redemption 2, but they add a lot more. They do the epilogue and the post game in Red Dead 2 so much better because you can kind of carry on Arthur's stuff.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, like I was helping Arthur, and like the journal told
Yeah.
me like
There's missions that kind of coalesce.
You
Yeah.
see how Red Dead 2 takes what Red Dead 1 and just does it 17 times better. Like just
Absolutely.
improves upon the formula. That I'm not blaming them for not doing that at the
Of
time.
course.
Like time and technology and like how would yeah.
Also, it was, apart from Revolver, like it was the first one. It is a
No,
bit
absolutely.
of a guinea pig. You're not going to know
100%.
like, oh, we could have done this. That like I don't know. They had the advantage of building on one with two, and they still did a great job with one from whatever Revolver was. Like I don't know.
I mean, I think you said this in the first episode, Gooch. You see the seeds of absolutely everything in Red Dead 2
Yeah.
from this, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
whether it comes down to your weapons, hunting, gathering, the
Stranger
challenges,
missions,
stranger
like everything.
missions, how everything works, how even like the different cities react, and even going from like your San Denis or your Blackwater to
random
San
events.
Denis, random events. It's all there, and it's funny because
even the weirdness of the world is here.
it's funny. I thought stranger missions started in this game, but they didn't. They were in Grand Theft Auto 4. And I had no idea until I played this like a year or two ago. So there's weird little blue like person icons on the map in
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 4. Those are stranger missions. I never knew.
Are they
I-
called Stranger Missions?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I think I
nice.
don't know if they're called, but like they're the exact same kind of
Right,
idea. It's just these random events that
Hey,
don't.
can you help me with this? Or
Yeah, it's like there's
Yeah,
one. I
it's
can't
like
remember a
goofy.
guy. He's like, I need to go buy drugs. Can you drive me? Like as Nico. It's again stuff I never
Yeah.
even kind of touched. But yeah, this is a fantastic fucking game. I love this game so much. I'll probably play it maybe 10 more times in my lifetime. Who knows? Even more.
I was loved playing it. I was ready to put it down for a little bit though.
Oh,
Like,
for
just-
sure.
I was blasting through it though. Like I would do like
I tore through it.
Yeah, you guys finished it much quicker.
I would do
than
full
did.
morning sessions.
I did also have to go on vacation, so I gave you guys ample
Well,
time.
and I was gonna stop for Undead
I don't think
Nightmare.
I played the whole time you were gone.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm in the mood. I just ran through it, and then I got the platinum too, which really actually was not that tough. Thank you.
Nice.
Still working on my multiplayer trophies. It's a grind.
See, that's why I'm glad.
Yeah, it's tough.
Do you have to have other people?
Yeah,
And-
you have to
and people
boost.
are playing.
I just
Like,
can't
Yeah,
believe you're
yeah,
still
there's
finding
boosting
people
hobbies.
who are like doing that.
How are you doing it? Discord or something? Like,
No, TrueAchievements.com has like a boosting thing where you can like get groups together for boost for certain trophies and stuff, and then you just jump on Xbox and
cool.
yeah, you go at it. I'm working on like the co-op missions, which are a bitch on advanced with another guy, and then I've only done one other boosting session.
How do you get to the co-op missions? Are they like
It's in multiplayer. It's just in there.
Yeah, they're like, did you play any of the?
Is there
this-
multiplayer in the menu? I don't.
It's on. So for me,
Yeah,
it's on. It's on
single
another
player.
disc.
Single player and then Undead's on the bottom.
And then it
but
was night,
is-
and then it was multiplayer.
It
Should
is
be in the middle. I'm
So
pretty
like
confident.
the
I just
disc,
skip right over
the
it.
disc for Undead Nightmare.
Well, not on PS4 though.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
there's
not
no-
in that. Yeah, there's no
no.
multiplayer suite on
Yeah,
the
they took it
PS4
out.
version.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there's no multiplayer.
No.
Period.
No.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exact-
I know
correct,
we
yeah.
haven't been playing the obviously nobody's been playing the multiplayer. We're not really talking about that but it is kind of, you kind of see it's arcadey. Just
Of
kind
course.
of like I think I described Red Dead 1 at the first episode.
that's how
Like,
GTA was back in the
very
day too.
arcade.
I was gonna say, did you play this online?
A little bit when it was first out.
If I had like some friends who were on, like we would play.
I think
or whatever,
like mess around and just shoot.
but,
I never got like
never
nearly
like I
as-
played GTA 4.
Yeah.
and definitely not like GTA 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, it's very GTA 4 and Red Dead this Red Dead were very similar online, where the next iteration of each are like vastly they're similar,
Much
but like,
more in depth.
but and in different directions.
Yeah,
like,
and for sure.
Like GTA 5 is obviously like the prime example of like a successful
Like GTA
growing online community, like
I mean,
and never
absolutely.
stopping, where
Yeah.
like Red Dead 2 could have been, it wasn't quite,
Rockstar
but, like,
just didn't support it.
Yeah,
Just didn't want
yeah.
to commit to it.
There were people playing.
yeah, but I felt like the first GTA 4 and Red Dead were very similar in terms of like
You
the
get
amount
on,
of fun
you're with
got
everyone, you
out
can
of it.
shoot
Yeah,
people.
like,
and,
yeah,
like,
it was it's arcadey in the two of them. Just,
I totally
not
agree.
as like, I don't know. It's just such a different level for the next two. Like,
Again, and especially even Red Dead. Red Dead 2's online is even more like it's like an RPG in certain
Yeah,
ways.
yeah,
Like almost even,
absolutely.
like so it is so different.
totally.
But anything else, gentlemen, on Red Dead 2 before we move on to the fun facts?
I think, or Red Dead 1. You
Red
said
Dead
2.
1, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Or Red Dead.
Bounce back and forth. Okay, so most of these are just this is kind of a where are they now section, really, more than anything.
Okay.
So we'll start with Professor McDougal. He ended up being expelled from Harvard after an argument over Polynesian cannabis. Oh, I'm sorry, Polynesia cannibals Polynesia. Anyways, cannibals turned physical and ended with him naked on a roof, threatening to jump unless he was given a beef Wellington.
I read that.
Yeah, that was in the thing. It was pretty funny. Good stuff. President Reyes is still working on making democracy possible after a bloody massacre in a small village down in Mexico. So he's still trying to get
Is that a newspaper one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
All these are from the newspaper.
Right, okay.
Marshall Johnson retired at the ripe old age of 54 after serving Armadillo for 17 years as its sheriff. Good for him. Take that whip. Go get your time off. Seth actually, I skipped one, but I'll come back to it. Seth managed to find his treasure after all these years in tall trees, after a long time of searching. After a long time of searching, I should say. I can't speak. Landon Ricketts passed away in his sleep while working on his autobiography at an unknown age. I'm sure you might be able to look up like how old he's supposed to be,
Right.
but it doesn't say it in there.
I did like that he, I guess not that he died, but I was like, he was so full of himself.
He was, and he
like,
just
always, like,
died happy
yeah.
and old. It is
never
funny.
wrote you never finished the book or whatever.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Funny stuff. And then Governor Nate Johns, who we spoke about before, the orchestrator and funder of John's troubles, has been indicted on a plethora of criminal charges, including corruption, extortion, and moral indecency, after being linked to the disappearance of a series of politicians and labor unionists. He is taking an extended vacation in Canada.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where good old Nate Johns ends up. Again, it's funny. What's his name's kind of the stand-in for Johns in the second one, the oil baron guy. I can't remember his name.
Bronte?
Not Bronte. The guy who's chasing him like throughout the game that they keep stealing off of. He's like, you keep robbing me, but you don't know who I am.
can't remember.
Cornwall, Cornstone.
Augustus Cornwall?
It might not be Cornwall. It's like
Cornwallis,
something like that. But
one of them sounds right.
yeah, interesting enough. Anyways, Gooch, should we move on to the next part?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of given our review of the game. I don't know if anyone
think
wants
so,
to
too.
wrap up, and I think the only thing I'll say, it's a great game. I think it holds up the majority of it holds up pretty well, and there are just a few issues, but yeah, I feel like we've talked at length about that, but if anyone else wants to add anything negative or positive, then that would be the time.
I
Before we
love
look at
this
the Metacritic
game.
reviews.
I love this game. That's it.
Play it.
Yeah, play it. Still holds up magnificently after all these years.
Get it on PS4 if you can.
I agree. You can play it at
For
60
your
frames
own
per
sake.
second. Yeah.
For your own
Yeah,
sake.
I'm actually excited to maybe play Red Dead again and play it on the PS5.
Get those achieves. Yeah.
The trophy, get that plat.
I will say it
You
took
can
me
just
like
borrow mine. Don't buy it.
No,
Don't
I
it
gotta
again.
buy it. Gotta buy it.
I was gonna say that's not gonna
You can
happen.
have mine. I
Gotta
don't care.
buy
That's a Goochism.
You can put the case up on your shelf. Okay?
No, I can't do that. Okay, so as we've been doing, I think since I think Halo, we started doing this like some way through. I think
I believe so.
where we look at the Metacritic reviews and see what people at the time thought of these games we're playing. Not one negative review for Red Dead 1. Not one. The lowest one I have here, and it's a 75, but that's it. Everything is in the hundreds, 90s, and 80s. There's not a lot of negative here, and I kind of get why. So let's look at what Big Pond Game Arena had to say. The end of the game, the outstanding epilogue, punctuates one of the most complete video game stories in a long time. The story will stay with the player for a long time afterwards, long after they got their hands on whatever the next It game happens to be. And
That is like that's
I picked
that's pretty
these
good.
reviews not just because of the score, but what they had to say, and I read that and I was like, yeah. Again, this game came out when 2009.
2010.
210.
Yeah, so we're 14 years later, and
Yeah.
very
Wild
apt.
shit, man.
Gaming Target gave it a 90 on Metacritic. It gives players a satisfying open world experience. Those who want to follow the main story can do so in about 15 hours, while the completionist will have a field day with all the side missions and other items added to the game. Very true.
Yep.
Xbox achievements with an 89. Red Dead Redemption is undoubtedly one of the finest open world games in quite some time, and easily the best Western inspired game ever made. Rockstar San Diego's production values are seemingly impressive, but for a large AAA title, it doesn't have the same polish that you'd expect from a publisher and developer of Rockstar's caliber. With more glitches than Windows Vista and too much pre-mission horsey riding, that's very true. You do ride your fucking horse. Red Dead Redemption is an amazing adventure, and if you want to be a 90-plus title in 2010, there can't be any buts. Well, not that big anyway.
A 90+ title.
So I get was the game. I have a
They
lot.
gave it an 89.
Like a $90+ title?
no,
Is that what it's
No,
like?
gave it an
review.
89.
Oh, I
Because
see.
they
I see.
reviewed it on
Oh, I
Metacritic.
see.
Yeah. I don't have anything to say. We're gonna talk about Undead Nightmare. We'll talk about bugs. I ran
yeah.
into one that just didn't stop my whole playthrough.
That is frustrating because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it. I don't remember that being an issue for me at all.
That was good.
And the last one, Game Shark with the 75. In the end, Red Dead Redemption is going to please a lot of gamers who are simply starved for a new world to explore and the Wild West. Even though the game takes place at the end of that era, it's ripe for the taking. And we still have not really seen any Western games since.
It's true, not in this capacity.
Not many.
No, you're right.
Yeah, they're really.
It is funny how
the
like,
Western
it's
genre has not been explored in games all that much.
And I do think it's tougher with a Western game because they talk about it in the making of this in the way of there's a lot more bullshit you can put in a GTA world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so much more you can fill that with. Whereas like it's tougher to do that with a truly like not historically accurate, but historically somewhat accurate representation of the West. There's not a lot going on there. So
Yeah.
I think you need someone like Rockstar to execute it in this way and make it. I mean, we see it even with Red Dead 2. Make it something worth playing.
I think anything that comes out would just be like, you're just trying to be Red Dead. Like
It's
they
true.
nailed it. So
Yeah.
like, it's almost what's the point? When,
Right.
Like just make another Red Dead if that's.
It's
But,
kind
like-
of it's
like,
kind
to
of
make it
it's
a
kind of like
game
the
you're
thing
gonna
with like
love.
all these Japanese.
That's what I was gonna say. It's funny how like and even like Viking stuff, something like
Right, the feudal Japan setting is so overdone at this point between all the titles that are coming out, but like
There's a lot more time though that you can explore with that. It might.
Sure.
to
That is
us-
true.
To
I
us,
agree
it
with
does
that, yeah.
seem,
Right,
It does
Western
seem
was
like
like
the same
a-
thing over and over to us.
like
as like
not even
Westerners.
100-year period.
it was like 60 years maybe. Yeah, like it would be, what would you say? Like all of 1800s?
I mean, it's
I
pretty
guess,
much like
yeah.
colonial history.
I would say
though,
like
after a certain point.
1820s to like the 1910s.
Yeah, like the West. Yeah, the old West. Yeah,
You've got a good 100, 150 maybe on like frontier,
Right.
and like
Right.
to get out
Oregon Trail is probably
like
another
when
example.
do cowboys start coming into the mix? You know what I mean? Like what? I guess like that type of stuff. That's interesting to me. But that is an interesting kind of point by them talking about just like how they do really just explore the later tail end of the Western, and I feel like that's what we get a lot now. Whereas at this time, that wasn't apparently the case. That's what they said even when we were like talking about the making of. No one really explored the tail end of the Western. But cool stuff.
And before Trio plays us out, I did want to I want to end this Red Dead Redemption main game part with asking, what do you want to see from Red Dead 3? And I'll go first as you guys think about it. I think you definitely it would not be a prequel. I think like at this point, like playing as Jack and seeing like what Jack does and like who he becomes, I think is very compelling to me. Like I think the game would probably be like Red Dead 3, but I was kind of thinking on like a play of the title, like what if it was like Red Dead like Redeemer or Red Dead like Redeemed, like something like that. Would be interesting, but yeah, I find given these two games, I think it fleshes out who Jack was very well to I want to see who Jack becomes and see what happens to him because he's like the only thing left from this story. He's literally the baby of the story, like literally, like he's birthed from this, and he, I guess it, player dependent in the post game who he is in terms of like morality, but it seems like he is very much like John.
Right.
So it'd be interested to delve in more to see who Jack actually is. But Casey, you want to start us off?
But going off your point, like I often think, I mean, nothing's set in stone, obviously. Like that, I don't know what the creators or writers thought of for Jack, but I kind of always thought that, like, even though he did this, what's it called, vengeance path, just for Ross, like,
right.
I kind of imagine that he would still kind of like maybe go away from the life and like stick with his educated mind and like not do the whole gunslinger thing.
Right, but like the end like doesn't.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But like all he had to do was that, and then title credits roll. Like it doesn't really, you can go and like be a frontiersman as him after that, like if you so choose to. But like, there's nothing that you have to do as him after that. So like, I don't know if he would have a reason to.
You
stick
call that
with
canon? That. Yeah, like the post game, probably not.
Probably not. But yeah, so I don't know if Jack. It's not that, because that is in my mind. There's two options. It's doing what you're talking about,
right.
Continue with Jack, or going back to like Dutch's beginning.
Well, you
and
were
like
kind of
keeping keep with the walking back in time of like you go from John's story and you see where John came from. You get Arthur's story, but then you see where Arthur came from through Dutch's story, like,
right?
And see why he's so. You really don't as much. Yeah, you start like so late into the Dutch and John, Arthur relationship into that, like it's who knows how much unexplored like lore, so to speak, there is, and like that's even without Arthur.
I mean, they've been
like,
running for what, like 20 years is the idea, like, or 10 years at least, something
time,
like that. Yeah,
a long time. So like, I think there's a lot you could do with going back to Dutch, and that kind of I don't know. I feel like the more you get into progressing in time, like if you went the Jack Marston route, like I don't know, like you quickly run into like, okay, you're in like the roaring 20s, fast, and like I don't know that at that point there's like? Tommy guns, there's like it's a different.
I guess the angle you take that at is you go modern and you're in a city.
You're in Mafia, the Mafia series. I think like I don't know how much you can do. It's not a Western anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if you want,
but I also think that's very thematic.
No, for sure. I think
possibly.
I think you can get more
but
modern without getting super modern, even to like that degree. I do agree though, because you're getting into cars and your cities.
I guess I don't understand. Sorry to
no, I agree.
I don't understand who's left to be dealt with. If it's just Jack who's there,
right?
Uncle's dead, Abigail's dead, John's dead, everybody in the gang is dead.
I mean,
Ross is dead.
Sadie,
who is gonna
Charles? Do we some of
we don't know. We don't know what happens.
But like, we're not bringing
Charles
back.
To be honest, though, like. They could make it work. They could write it in a way that makes sense. But like, why would you?
I think
not
Sadie makes sense.
But why?
I think a lot of people like her.
They're not included at all. Because it took place before, or it was came out before. It makes sense. Like they didn't have the whole Red Dead 2 thing fleshed out. But like, why would you just like leap 20? I don't know. There's like seemingly no reason. And Jack's not a kid anymore. He's on his own. It's not like somebody has to come in and take care of him, and like that's where Sadie shows up. Like,
right.
I don't know how they would do.
Or maybe they cross paths somehow.
Because I did think about when I read this in the doc. Like I did think about this, and I was like, dude, like I would like to say Jack, but I just don't see where it goes.
Jack's like the logical way to go.
I think
in
even
the way
a
of like,
Sadie game could be cool.
Well, I could see you playing as Jack and interacting with Sadie and all, and
she
some
has
of the old
almost
gang members.
A backward arc.
No, for
she's
sure.
Civilized and then becomes I was gonna call it a ganger, but like a loose cannon. She becomes a bounty
gunslinger.
Hunter.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about like a tangential.
That would be
I
cool.
think that would work. I do. Casey, I'm literally right along with you. Those are my exact two thoughts. Like either you maybe go back to Dutch or you play as Jack. I think it's tough. I think they did an interesting or had an interesting thought of making or you make a new character that's part of the gang again, like that was part of the gang in the earlier times and then was gone for some reason. Because I think maybe playing as Dutch himself might start, because I don't what's going to happen with him already.
It's kind of like the solo thing. You can only do so much because where the story goes.
Exactly, and even like with John, if you make John the main character in Red Dead 2, you know exactly where that's going.
Right.
which you already do, but at least when you're playing as Arthur, you don't know what happened to Arthur. You don't know where his story ends up.
So you could have Dutch be a character, but
not necessarily maybe the guy you play as, but
right. Okay.
or you just go and tell another story like GTA does in the West, like completely disconnected. Yeah. It's a new character,
but it's in the same world.
But it's in the same world, yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder when they would do it because like. Even though GTA always works, I think because it hops
exactly,
around. There's always that crazy guy on the East Coast talking about Nico. There's always like they're always referencing stuff.
I mean, you kill Johnny in the fucking GTA 5, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be looking for. You mean the Lost Angel?
Yeah, Lost the damn guy. Yeah, you just Trevor kills him at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Crazy. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I agree because there's a lot less time to work with in there. I think if you're doing that. You go to the Wild West. You go back to the 1880s or whatever and tell me a different Western story maybe. I'm fine with that. I don't necessarily need you to continue John or Jax or even like maybe expound upon, the gang as a whole. I'd just be fine with another great kind of Western story. But that's easier said than done also.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does that do us, gentlemen?
That does us.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching with us. We usually record these live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We are on all the social medias as well. Everywhere with an @ sign. We are at Delco Nerds. We've got a Facebook page, Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below. You can email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We're happy to get back to you. You can even find all this information at our website, delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, for Casey, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.